What is going on, everybody? Welcome to week 2 of the Prop Shop Show here on the RotoGrinders YouTube podcast video feed. I am Brit Devine with my man, Chief Justice 06, Will Priester. Will, we are out here in the weeds, man. The sports books, they don't want to give us the props on Tuesday, but you know what? The prop sites, they want us to have some fun, so we can play on Prize Picks, Underdog, Monkey Knife Fight, all of them out there tonight. And what's fun is, as we're recording this, we don't have any lines to judge our takes against, my friend.
Well, I sure do, because I'm going to use week 1 data. I'm going to use last year data, and then we're going to be a little bit intuitive and see if we can yet again bring some winners in for the people. I think if they followed the blueprint last week, we didn't have a 100% hit rate. I don't care. If you played Jameis Winston and McPherson, you were set up for success pretty much the whole week. If you played and we got this one by the skin of our teeth. So this isn't a victory lap. This is a, hey, we made money. If you played Gibson, you got away with it on one last carry, 2 yards, took him from 56 to 58. If you played Joe Mixon, you were just running to the bank. And, of course, we had some fails, like Najee didn't get there. We had one kicker, Brit, that just cost us, man. Jake Elliott, Philly was just up too much, and it just never came together. But everybody else came through for the most part. So, I mean, I think we had a good week if people put it together. We had some 10X cards. We had some good combinations. And I think we're ready to roll yet again this week. Trust the process, and we're going to keep helping you make some money for sure.
Yeah, kickers. We got lots of kicker talk coming on this show. So if you like,
props, listen, kicker props are going to be a ridiculous staple this week. Like, Brent was putting me on kicker props that I wasn't even on yet. Like, we're combing the board in 2 different places, and he hit me up and was like, "Yo, have you seen this? I'm not going to give away his intel." So then I went and looked. I said, "Oh, we're going to have to get them this week." Like, early. Oh, man. I can't wait to get
We're going to move some of these push picks lines tonight for sure.
Oh, yeah. I'm probably going to I might have 5 to 10 units tied up before the night is over for Sunday.
Right. Let's get into this. Again, shout out to the chat. A lot of you guys from the Discord. So thanks for showing up live. If you guys want to join the Discord, a nice community that Chief runs, you can go to the RotoGrinders Discord. There is a free channel. It is Chief's Prop Shop. There are tickets posted all the time. There's a ton of chatter. People, will compare the best prop sites, all this sort of fun stuff. Make sure to join it. A great community Chief's put together. Hat tip to you, my man. And it's free to join. Don't know why, but that's the plan. You can just kind of chat with everybody in there. It should be
everybody thinks I'm crazy because it's free. Everybody thinks I'm crazy.
I do too, my man.
Just keep it free.
All right, let's jump into. So last week we played a lot of Prize Picks. I've got some underdog plays. I've got some Monkey Knife Fight plays. Of course, we've got Prize Picks, mainly because Prize Picks puts all their stuff out. It seems just a little bit earlier than some of the other ones. If you want to join any of these, you can just go to the top of the RotoGrinders homepage. Go to the fantasy sites, click on whichever site we talk about, and you'll be able to get the best bonus if you're a new user in the industry through any of the RotoGrinders links. So make sure to do that, and you'll be able to play along with us and join in on the fun. They're not in every state, but in most states, you should be able to play along with a lot of these props Chief and I talk about. All right, let's go to Thursday night. We've got the Chargers in Kansas City. Chief, what are we, Patrick Mahomes, he came out and he's like, Tyreek, who? Right? Like, he just was throwing it all over the field. He's looking pretty good. I was looking at the fantasy score. Both quarterbacks, there's no 100-point bonus or 300-yard passing bonus like there is on DraftKings. But both quarterbacks, I believe, went over both of their fantasy scores in their games last season. How are we attacking this game? It's got a big over-under, a big total. There's going to be, I think, some interesting props. Oh, Josh Palmer got added. He wasn't up here a little while ago, Chief.
Yeah, we were looking for him.
Yeah, they just sneak him in the middle of the show. I'm definitely going to be on some Josh Palmer. Had a touchdown in both games Keenan Allen missed last year and had some yards and some receptions and targets and all that fun stuff. What are we liking in terms of Thursday night for the people who get to the show a little bit early?
Well, ironically, I'm actually going to start on Thrive for this one.
All right.
Because I really, really, really like some of the lines there. So we're getting Patty Mahomes at 303.5. I think most books, by the time we're at the end of this thing, are going to be pretty darn close. Like I think 303.5 is coming in pretty good. Where I think we might have some differences of opinion is where Juju ends. So Juju was at 46.5 week 1. He came in at Prize Picks on 60.5, getting a little bit of a discount at 57.5 on Thrive. Like, I'm going to take that. Like, I think Juju goes over 60 regardless, just because of the way the offense is set up. But 57.5, I'm taking it. I think, Kelsey is coming in at 77.5 on Thrive. I'm going to take that one as well. And then Justin Herbert coming in at 283.5 in terms of just passing yards. I'm taking it. Like, that's pretty much where I'm going to end up on Thrive. I do want to see where they give us the rest of these props at. I think I trust Clyde Edwards-Helaire to get at least 20 yards receiving as well. But I'm not going to add that one just yet. Like, these 4 are kind of the ones that I like the most. And if I had to just choose 2 right now, it's probably Juju and Herbert. Not that I don't think Mahomes is going over 300. I just think Herbert in the game, they're going to have to continue to throw the ball to stay in the game. And as a result of the game script, I think I want to take the 20-yard discount with Herbert because if they're going to keep up, he's going to have to push the ball down the field. He's devoid of Keenan Allen, but and you notice they don't have a Mike Williams prop up here either, which I was really shocked.
I saw it for a little bit. The Mike Williams prop was real low, and
was it like 58.5 or 48.5?
It's up to like 70 on Prize Picks now. So I think someone hammered it across the industry, and it got juiced way up. So I think they took it off the board. Yeah,
that's what I think. But these 4 staple props right here, definitely what I'm going to run Thursday night. If I had to do a 2-pick power, it's Herbert and Juju. I think Juju's on his way to another monster game, at least 70 yards receiving, I think. I don't think there's any way he goes under 60. I definitely think he's going for 70 plus yet again. So I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah, one of the reasons, so Chief brought up Thrive. So one of the fun things about the prop sites, they all pay out just a little bit differently. So Thrive actually pays out a little bit more per pick than a site like Prize Picks, but sometimes Prize Picks has just so many different things to select from. So, right, if you pick a 3-pick on Thrive, you get 6.2x. That's I think industry leading. So
it is. And that's standard. That's not like a promo. This is what it is.
All right, Chief, I just threw $10 on your little pick on Thrive. I got Kelsey over, Juju over, Herbert over on Thrive. So we got that one out of the way. What else are we looking at? I want to talk Josh Palmer. I want to see his yards haven't come up, but his fantasy scores out here. He's at 11.5. I have almost no problem taking that with his one deep playability, his 2 games last year without Keenan Allen. He scored a touchdown in both and had pretty good fantasy games. I think 11.5. I mean, he's going to be the clear number 2 option. Well, maybe not 2 because Eckler's going to get there, but in terms of wide receivers, I think he should get there pretty easily. What are you liking more so across all the internet? I mean, there's so many of these sites. How do we choose which one to play, which prop? It's generally whichever line's the best. But is there anything you like on Prize Picks this week?
Yeah, man, for sure. I'm going to kind of be in the same vein for the Thursday night game. I'm going to be over on Mahomes, going to be over on Juju for sure. I think for me, in terms of Kelsey, I actually –
Which stats are you looking at? Because there's so many. Are we talking just straight up receiving yards, passing yards?
Yeah, for Juju, I'm really more so on his receiving yards. So I'm pretty much going to be receiving yards across the board, like unless we catch a site slipping and they hit us with like 4.5 receptions. Like if you get 4.5, like just take it. That's good value. But at 60.5 receiving yards, like I said, I think he's going for 70. And not to give too much away, I did look at this earlier. Wait a minute, wrong page. I was looking at the blitz predictions, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to give everything away, but
I
I'm
want to
pretty
note to you,
sure.
I put a word into Cardi on this, and he said the blitz, it's pretty good right now. It'll be dialed in overnight, and then Wednesday is when it's like about as accurate as it's going to get going into the Thursday night game. So just take it with a small grain of salt, Chief, right now on the blitz, because I asked Cardi about this specifically. I'm like, trying to do this show, man. What's going on here? So just take that in consideration when you're looking at it.
Yeah, well, I'm not really sweating it. The blitz, I misread. They got Keenan Allen at 76, but he's not even going to play. So I'm not worried about that. Juju's at 56 right now, but I already know like that's wrong. So I'm really not sweating it. I'm all over Juju this week. Yet again, we were all over Juju last week at 46.5. No need to hop off of the train now. So I definitely think it's going to be a good week. Mike Williams, I'm going to wait on Mike Williams on prize until I see where he settles in at on the books, and then maybe I'll decide where I want to be. Now, I could pay with that because he could end up at 74.5, 75.5 on the books, and then I'm kind of caught slipping. But I'm more of a game script player in football. And I will, of course, I'm going to look at the odds. I'm going to look at the books. I want to see how things are going to go. But I do value game script in football a lot, because if you can project as close to accurate as possible which team is going to be down most of the game or behind where they have to pass to catch up maybe the end of the first half, into the fourth quarter, then that's where you get that extra, in my opinion, 50 to 80 yards in passing yards for your quarterback. Those 2-minute drills where they have to throw the ball to keep up. And I definitely think the Chargers are going to be in 2-minute drill at least twice in this game.
Mm-hmm. I want to run over to Monkey Knife Fight, because you mentioned if you saw Juju at 4.5 receptions to take him. I believe he is 4.5 receptions over here on Monkey Knife Fight. So did they change our little 3-pick that we were looking at?
Yeah, we were talking about it. They still got it?
It looks like they may have switched it on us. They moved out Kelsey, and they have MVS in there with Juju and Mike Williams now. So there's a couple.
Oh, man. They got us, man.
Chief, after we were talking about it pre-show,
yeah,
I think they moved it on us because I was putting some money down on it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I love Travis Kelsey this week. He had monster games against the Chargers, both games last year. He's going to be the total focal point of the offense. We already saw that week 1. I'm not expecting anything different. He's at 17.5 fantasy points. The 84 yards, I don't like as much. I think that's pretty good line. You can get lower lines elsewhere. But the 17.5 fantasy points he's at, in Monkey Knife Fight's giving you a 3.5x on a pick 2. So that means if you bet $10, you would get 35 back on Monkey Knife Fight. Where on Prize Picks, you're generally getting $30 back. And it doesn't seem like a lot, but to get $5 back extra on your $10 bet. And I noticed they've done this just for like the Thursday night game and like the primetime games. That really adds up theoretically in the long run. With Eckler at 19.5, it looks like that's the only option I really have left for Travis Kelsey. I have one with 6.5 receptions too for a 5x.
But that's the one we hopped on earlier. We had
Mahomes
Kelsey
and Herbert.
No. Remember, we had Kelsey 6.5. Mike Williams, I think we had at 68.5.
Yeah, they switched it out on us.
And Juju 4.5.
We put too much in play.
One. Yeah,
we put too much in play.
I should have waited. I should have eased off of that one a little bit. I couldn't help it though. Like, once we started talking about it, I was like, yeah, we got to get this in. I honestly wasn't anticipating them pulling that one down after we already got in on it, but here we are. And I have to do videos on this stuff, and then sometimes I put the video out and they've pulled the whole. I'm like, man, like if I put a video out,
you're a line mover, Chief.
Nah, but still, if I put a video out, at least give the people a chance to get it. Like we need to give them a day. Like it's unfair if I'm going to promote
the Stevie NASCAR props last about 30 seconds when he pops up.
Yeah, I get it, man. I know. I'm just, man, I hate that.
Hey, they can't just give us all the money all the time, Chief. We got to earn it a little bit. All right, so what about Eckler, right? So I'm eyeing this Kelsey 17.5 fantasy points. Eckler's at 19.5. Or
He's got to get in the end zone to pass.
They got your boy Juju at 59.5. They got Mike Williams at 68.5.
That's a good 3.5.
I think that's a pretty fair line right here. So on Monkey Knife Fight, Juju 59.5, Mike Williams 68.5, a 3.5 X on that. I think we're down with that, right?
Oh yeah, that's a good line for sure.
Yeah, I think we'll take the overs on that one. All right, so that's a little Thursday night look around the industry on some props we like. Thrive, Underdog, Monkey Knife Fight, Prize Picks. Again, if you're ever looking to sign up for one of these and you hear about it, you can just go to the top of the RotoGrinders homepage, click on the fantasy sites, find your favorite prop site, and use whatever bonus code RotoGrinders has to make sure you get the most available bonus that is out there. Let's go to Sunday, Chief, because Sunday is looking nice right now on basically all the sites. I found some plays. I've already hit them quite a bit. I put one into the prop shop early. It was so good I had to get it out to them a couple hours before the show. I'll try to do that every now and then for you guys in case some of the lines get taken down. But I want to go. Why don't we just go to the juicy props, Chief? The kickers. You want to go to the kickers?
Hey, listen,
let's just go right to it.
Listen, we are kicker prop players. Like, no doubt about it. I've said this since we kind of started last year. Like, kickers are where the money is, man. If you can nail the kickers, and we've got so many good lines. I'm going to shut up, Brit. I'm going to let you call this because you found, what I think might be one of the tastiest.
I can't believe
first half kicker props. I'm just gonna let you talk.
All right, they're gonna.
Ladies and gentlemen, get ready. This is gonna blow your mind for a kicker prop in first half. I can't believe.
All right, so if you're on Prize Picks, you have to go to NFL first half. So we're just playing the first half line. There's a lot of variants, right? You're playing in a first half, but some of these are just so good. We had to get them out on the show tonight, and we're playing some kicker fantasy score projections. So it's just your typical field. If a guy kicks a 40-yard field goal, that is 4 fantasy points in the first half. If they get 3 extra points, that's 3 fantasy points. A 50-yard field goal, 5 fantasy points. So just keep that in mind. Some of these are ridiculously low. We're going to start a couple. My favorite is Cade York of Cleveland. We saw they drafted him in the 4th round, right, for a kicker. And he comes in, saves the game with a massive 50-yarder to end the game here. Had himself, I think, 4 field goals, had 5 fantasy points in the first half last week, and he's at 3.5 against the Jets.
And they're playing the Jets.
So this is definitely one of my favorite props currently available on PrizeBooks. This is the one I put into the Prop Shop Discord a little earlier in the day. It is still currently up. I like that one. Chief, you mentioned me. I'll bring up Boswell.
Oh, that's my guy this week.
He's at 3.5 too. Why don't you talk about him?
Boswell is this week's McPherson, outside of McPherson missing like 5 field goals at the end of the game. Get Boswell right now. I'm telling you, Boswell might kick 4 field goals in this game. And I'm saying that he's playing New England. Different quarterback. They're going to take the points, I think. We saw last week. I think Boswell hit his prop in the first half. I like 3.5 first half. I also like 1.5 for the game. If they're going to keep giving us field goals made, I'm telling you, we may have another week or two at 1.5. And then push picks is coming around.
McPherson's going to 2 immediate. McPherson should be at 2 every week, dude.
Yeah, McPherson, Boswell, Tucker, as long as the coach doesn't punch us in the gut too much. Another guy that I think is sneaky, Brit, every week is Younghoe Koo. I think Koo is going to be kicking, and he's kicked a lot anyway. Younghoe Koo, I think he's going to be sneaky for the season. But my absolute top kicker for the week is Boswell. No doubt about it. 1.5 first half. Play them both. I think he's going to hit them both, pass them both with flying colors, because I'm expecting at least 1 field goal in the first half. I'm also expecting at least 1 touchdown. And that's really why I like Boswell. I think 4 fantasy points for him is a steal. I've already got my list of kickers. I'm not going to tell you everybody right now, Britt, because I know you got one more.
He's a 3.
I'm going to give you
I don't understand.
full
I don't
list.
understand a 3 in a first half for any
Yeah.
kicker. I don't care what team you're on, but Cairo Santos for Chicago is at 3. That's literally a field goal. Can the Bears kick a field goal in the first half? I think
Yes.
it's possible. Yes, they can. It's 3 in the
mean,
first half. It's too low.
And if he kicks a 40-yarder, he's done. He's already over. Period. Yep. My whole kicker list for this week, if you guys must know, and I did say this, I will start having lists in the prop shop on Sundays. The only reason I didn't do it this week is I was out of town. My son had a basketball showcase, played really well. I was super proud of him. Had a top 250 showcase. So, be on the lookout. He's probably going to go D1. But, we'll see. But Boswell, Lutz, York, Santos, Tucker, Suckup, Lutz, Sanders, McManus, Prater, Elliott, Joseph. Those
you got the whole league.
No, I don't. That's not the whole list. But most of these are going to be at the 1.5, and then a couple of the Santos is more for the 3 first half, and that's something that you pointed out when we were just kind of talking prior to the show. An hour or two before the show, getting ready. But Santos is probably the juiciest first half play for sure. I still like Boswell. I think he's going to crush. But Santos at 3, I mean, we're pretty much asking for a win easily with that one.
All right. So, we'll click on anything, Chief, if we think it's a good prop on any of the sites here. So I know some of you don't like kickers in fantasy, but in the prop shop and the prop show, we love kickers here. We are not anti-kicker over here because the props they're giving us this week are just a little bit too good.
And look, Brit, I just want to tell everybody, give us about 2 more weeks on tackles, okay? 2 weeks. I'm going to go through 3 weeks and just kind of see how things are going because I think that'll give us enough time to see, okay, couple games in, who's really tackled, who's not. 3 weeks, and then Nargs. We're going to hop on Nargs sheet, and we're going to have kicker, tackle, full cards ready to go every week.
All right, I want to run a couple more Sunday plays. I've got picks on.
I
think I got some underdog picks. I got some prize picks. Which one? Let me go to underdog real quick and give them some props. Pun not intended, but I guess I will go ahead and use it anyway, Chief. So on Sunday, a couple of the lines I like here. Again, they're not out on the sports books yet. Prize picks, underdog, they've just sort of put them out there, and I think there are definitely some a little bit too low. The first one is Deontay Johnson, 50.5 receiving yards. Is it Ben Roethlisberger? Is it Mitchell Trubisky? I don't know, but 12 targets, 7 receptions, 55 yards. That was a very strange game, but they were up for a reasonable portion of the game too, and he still was the clear target hog. I know Freiermuth got his. Chase Claypool is a cheap Deebo Samuel now. But it looks like Deontay at 50.5. When you're getting this sort of volume and just picking up where he left off last season, Chief, Deontay at 50.5 on underdog looks a little too low. I'd be willing to bet he's closer to 60 than 50 at the sports books when this comes out.
And he's at 58.5 on prize picks for what it's worth.
Yeah,
that's a really good discount coming in early. Really big discount. I like that a lot.
So if you're on underdog, that's one I like. The other one I like is I needed to see it 1 week from Michael Thomas, Chief, and I saw it. He's at 54.5 against Tampa Bay. Got 8 targets, 2 touchdowns, 57 yards last week. I'm expecting him to sort of pick up where he left off a couple of years ago, is what it seems like. And against Tampa Bay, I think they're going to have to throw the ball quite a bit here. The 54.5 just seems a little bit too low. I don't know where he's at elsewhere around the industry, but that underdog tends to have a little bit sharper of a line. But I think this is too low. So if you were looking for a pair on this, or if you got some CSGO plays or some WNBA or whatever else you like to play on any of these sites on underdog, I think that Deontay Johnson line is about as good of a prop as you're going to get on football for underdog this week.
Yeah, for sure. No, I like that call, Britt. I definitely think that one is one that's clearing away, at least currently, probably one of the best lines. I will say again, especially since we were talking about the Tampa Bay game, I know it might have looked a little ugly for James in the first half. I think that was just kind of, first game jitters. I think we saw quickly how easily Jameis can dial up passing yards. And if he didn't have a bad first half, Jameis goes over 300 easily in this game. I mean, he pretty much threw for 220 in the second half alone, something like that.
I mean, you can add some correlation. I don't hate Winston 232 and a half. Yeah. They let you do the correlation with no penalty, like a same game parlay with no penalty. Add it in
exactly. Here. Yeah, so I'm absolutely going over with Jameis again this week. I've got my sheet here. Somebody that I think we actually made some money on last year, Brit, when his lines were a little bit lower, generally speaking. And this is somebody that, as we were talking through props about who you were on, who I was on, we're both on this one, kind of let's call it our version of a general consensus, and that's Davis Mills at 220 and a half. It might not seem like the best play until you dig in just a tad here. I think Davis Mills against Denver is going to be a thing. I think they should be behind in this game. They should be. And I think this is going to open it up for Davis Mills yet again to keep pushing the ball down the field. I think it's a good spot for him. We saw Geno Smith come out and look like a man amongst boys in the first half. Now, they made adjustments, had some more ball control in the second half. But I think Davis Mills at 220 and a half is going to be a good prop for us. These guys, he's got enough weapons. And if I like Davis Mills, and this is something I do with every quarterback, if I think a quarterback's going to blow through their target, I'm going to be on Brandon Cooks. I have to be its number one option. It's kind of the same thing I said yesterday when I was talking about the Denver game. And I'm like, I think Russ is going to have a big game in terms of passing yards. And I took a little bit more fantasy points probably than I should versus passing yards. And that's shame on me. Like I'll take the hit for that. But I talked about it. When you've got weapons that do things in different ways, like Judy is the home run hitter and Sutton is more of the get a couple catches, pick up chunk yards, that's exactly what we saw. In this offense, if Davis Mills is going to go for 250, 260, Brandon Cooks is going to be that guy. And so, if you're playing Mills, I think the handcuff or the pair with Cooks, man, is going to be beautiful. And I'm also going to run it back with some Broncos. Like game stacking for me and props is a big deal. You talk about it all the time, Brit. You're not getting penalized, so I like it a lot. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, they don't have the Broncos up yet, though, do they? Yeah, they're not up yet because they played last night. I want to throw real quick to the Blitz. I did mention it a little bit. The Blitz has both Mills and Cooks way over for week 2, by the way. So I like that one. I'm going to go to another offense that I think surprised us with just how pass heavy they were. And this is, Chief, I might like this one more. I don't like putting a lot of money on Carson Wentz.
Oh,
but the dude was chucking.
Brit, you snuck this one in on me. I did not expect you to go Wentz, but he's playing Detroit. I can't argue with that.
He's chucking the ball all over, and don't look now, but they got some receivers in Washington. They've got Terry McLaurin. They've got Curtis Samuel, who when healthy is he's a real nice player. They've got Dotson. They've got Logan Thomas, Antonio Gibson, J.D. McKissick. This is like, I don't want to say, but it's like a top overall like receiving unit. Like it's easily top half in the league out here right now.
So here's what caught me off guard Sunday. Because at one point I was looking at Gibson's rushing yards and I was like, man, they're not giving him the ball. But he had like 5 catches. I mean, he really.
Washington, they threw the ball, I think, more than any other team in like neutral situations. They threw the ball. Carson Wentz is leading this team. It's a pass first team. They have the weapons. They've realized it. And I don't know with Dallas going down, it's them and the Eagles for the division.
Well, listen, Dallas isn't going anywhere. I saw a report today as I was digging through some info, of course. That's
not going to be out for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
He's going to be
now
out
they're saying he's going to try to come back, but I don't see that. Their season is over, I think. So I'm with you. It's down to Washington and the Eagles, the Commanders and the Eagles. Which team is going to be able to pretty much pull this thing out? And guess what? The answer is I don't know. But what I will say on a sidebar, Britt, outside of props, I mean, Mr. Brown looked like a man amongst boys this past weekend. A.J. Brown, aren't we glad we got in on the season-long 2.5 over 100-yard receiving games? I mean, he may have another one this week.
You might have him every week.
Listen, 72.5, this is one of those plays. If I might ride this one until the wheels fall off, Brett. This is another game where it should be competitive. At 72.5, another great spot for him. I'm in. Like, I'm just going to take it, and we'll see what happens in the end. But I don't see him getting stopped again this week. I don't. I mean, this is a big-time game against Minnesota. They're going to be running up and down the field yet again. A.J. Brown's healthy. They're going to give him the ball. Forget it. I'm taking over 72.5. I think he goes for 80 to 85. I'm in.
Yeah, I like this one. And two, in terms of sports betting, if you have access to those, one of the best things I've learned to do from last year is the look-ahead lines. So if you can find week 3 NFL lines, so I got the Bills -6.5 against Tennessee before Tennessee lost, and they're up to -10. And I got this Eagles game at over 47.5, and it's up to over 42 or over 52 already because I'm expecting a ton of offensive fireworks in this game. So if I love the look ahead lines, if you can try to, extrapolate what's going to happen this week, you can get some major advantages on the sports book if things go your way. So I like AJ Brown. So I want to put this prop out here. This looks like a really juicy one because this is the Wentz, McLaurin, Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks 4-pick, Chief. So a little lesson. If you play this on a sports book, you're going to get dinged for the same game correlation with both of these quarterbacks. And if you put them in a same game plus, this might pay out like 6x, right? On a sports book with the same game correlation, with the passing yards over and the receiving yards over. You're getting a 10x on these prop sites because that's just the way they have to play on some of these. So if you're going to play the same game parlays, really check out the prop sites because if you're playing yardages and receivers and overs, you don't get dinged for the correlation at all, or definitely not as bad as you do on the sports books. So this is, the same game parlay X or whatever they want to call it, right? This is 2 small ones, Mills and Cooks over, McLaurin and Wentz over. I've already put this in before the show, or I would bet this live, but this is a very nice one. I can completely agree with that one. I want to ask you on one Saquon Barkley. Let's talk about him real quick here because he's at 70 he's at 70.5, and he looked back, Chief. He looked back. Rushing, receiving, explosiveness, breaking tackles. I love taking like Chubb's up to 89.5. And he's going to be splitting work. I might take the Chubb. The Chubb under did not work for me last week. I might take the under again. But Barkley he's the guy. And 70.5 against Carolina. What did Chubb, what did Hunt, what did these guys do last week? What is Saquon going to do this week? I mean, this just looks like it's a little too low. He should be up there in the 80s, closer to maybe not 90 because he's so involved in the passing game. But until he hits the 80s, against weak defenses, I think it's a little bit too low. You can see we have a little extension from Prize Picks from RotoGrinders. It takes the RotoGrinders projections, throws them right on your screen here. So if you are a premium member, you can get all of that right overlaid onto your Prize Picks screen. You can just Google Prize Picks RotoGrinders extension if you're looking for that. Our early look has them at 75 yards. If this was 75, Chief, I'm still hitting the over.
Exactly. I'm with you. I love Barkley this week. In fact, for those of you, I know sometimes people will ask me, what do I look at? Like teamrankings.com is something I use because I can get some of the things I'm looking for very quickly and sort it down. And I'm going to ask you this, Brett. Top 5 teams in terms of rushing yards against this week. I know you can name one because one was Carolina. One of the teams. Who do you think the top team was this week in terms of yards against? When I saw it, it actually caught me off guard. But I'm wondering who do you think it is? Worst team so far after week 1.
It can't be the Texans because that would be too obvious.
Nope, it's not the Texans.
The Titans. Was it the Titans? No, it wasn't the Titans.
Yes, it was the Tennessee
it was.
Titans. They gave up 238 yards on the ground. I couldn't believe it. And so I know you remember when we were talking earlier, I said Devin Singletary sneakily might be my favorite rushing prop in the week at 45.5. I know that he's going to cede some carries to some other guys. I know Josh Allen's going to take up some rushing as well, but they just gave up 238. I think Devin Singletary can get over 50 yards rushing this game. And he had 48 last week against the Rams. They're probably going to be up in this game against Tennessee, which should give him a few more carries. Devin Singletary, folks, get the man in your lineups. I like him a lot. And I'm playing a little bit of low ball again this week, Brit. I'm going to give out a few because I know we got to get out of here. Singletary, 45.5, I like. Miles Sanders, 47.5, I like. Ezekiel Elliott, 41.5.
I'm on Zeke too.
Yeah, those are 3 low ball props. I'm like, man, these might be a touch too low right on the initial board. Probably need to go ahead and get those in your lineups now. I am expecting Zeke to probably move up to 45.5 at least. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think he stays at 41. That feels too low.
Yeah, definitely on the Zeke one at 41.5. That's it. That's probably 10 too low in my opinion, if you ask me. A couple other props I wanted to throw out there. There's a couple passing yard props. Vegas, all the prop sites, they're not giving Derek Carr his due. He's at 265.5. They have Devontae Adams. They're using Devontae Adams. They've got Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, 265 is weight. Did you see Patrick Mahomes carve up Arizona? Arizona's defense is trash this year. I thought they were going to be pretty bad. They lost too many people. Carr 265, way too low in my opinion. This is he's a 300-yard passer.
Yeah, Carr is in. Like, and I said the same thing. I think we talked about. Like I said, we sent things back and forth. He's 265 on Prize Picks. He's 272 on Underdog. So getting a little bit of a discount on Prize Picks, and I think that's a way to actually use the sites too, Brit, when they post early. And I did write that down. Like Jameis, it's at 230 on Prize Picks, but 232.5. Carr at 265 and 272 on Underdog. 265 on Prize Picks, 272 on Underdog. Definitely advantageous to get those little discounts. I think that's a big deal. Like last week, we saw that on Thrive, they gave us JT at 92.5. Now he still blew through that, but my point is that was a pretty good discount considering where we were.
Yeah, I'm just slowly going. I'm just going through anything. You got anything else on any of the sites you wanted to hit on?
No, because Thrive is a little bit behind. Underdog is slightly behind. Prize is always going to have more props available to us, and I think
especially on Tuesdays when we record this.
Yeah. I think we did a good job of handing those out. Stick with us, folks. The show is only going to get better, and I think it was pretty good last week in terms of being able to hand out winners for people to be profitable. So I do think that was good. Oh, also, I will say this. I think Gerald Everett at 9 fantasy points, I'm going back to Thursday, is going to be a big deal with Keenan Allen out. At 9 fantasy points, I'm inclined to take the over on Gerald Everett so far.
Yeah, I think that's a good one too. I'm just seeing if there's anything else. I like Drake London 49.5 against the Rams. I mean, if Pitts is gonna just get all that prayer yards again, like he seemed to do all last year and not really do too much. London looked really good out on the field. I think that might be a little bit too low. What do you think of T? I guess we don't know if T Higgins is going to play, so we could probably wait on that one. CeeDee Lamb 60.5.
I mean, at some point we're going to have to take some overs, right?
AJ. That's low for CeeDee, but I mean, I understand why.
Yeah, it's no doubt, but
Wait, Zay Jones is 47.5. We can't. That looks like an under.
Quite possibly.
I know we got some. I know he had a good week 1, but that might be one to eye for an under. Bateman's at 47.5 receiving yards. That looks like a pretty solid over in my opinion.
It does, because this matchup with Miami should be really competitive. So I'm in on that one for sure. I really, really, really hope that this game is as competitive as I think it is, because Tyreek is someone I was on last week a little bit, and he did not disappoint. It looks like he's still going to get the target volume. So I'm in on Tyreek as well.
I like Elijah Moore, 47.5. That seems a tad low on Prize Picks, at least in the receiving. Robbie Anderson got all the targets and air yards.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know what that was.
I think Baker's just it's a whole different crew with him. I know they didn't really give the ball to CMC too much. I think that's probably going to change. But Robbie Anderson, this is one play for Robbie Anderson, 36.5 yards.
Yeah. No, I know. And that's where Robbie Anderson sucked me in last year. It's like, man, he can hit 40 yards in one play. But I want to see some consistency out of him. And so what I may have to do, Brit, is I may have to give up the cheap props now. Like maybe, so he's not somebody I'm going to like put in 5 cards. I'll put him in 1 card a week and see what happens. If he blows through it again this week, let's say he goes for 80 yards receiving, next week he's probably coming out at 55.5. That's going to be like, or 49.5. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to incrementally boost him up.
All right, Chief, anything else? I think we got to get out of here.
Yeah, I think we're good. You got all the kicker props in the world that you need to be successful this week. I mean, Brit's giving you the goods, putting my nuggets in there. I think we're good, man. I think we're good.
All right, everyone, make sure to go over to the RotoGrinders Discord. Go to
Wow! Bang! Everybody want to hear that. Let's go! Let's go!
Yes, that's when the tackle comes in on the last play of the game, Chief. That's what we do.
Listen, I had Brown in every card I had today. So much
baseball,
Brown.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Woo! All right, I know I'm screaming. Sorry, folks.
Listen, this is what happens in the prop shop. So everyone gets excited. We all get on the same plays, and sometimes it gets a little wild. Go check it out in the RotoGrinders Discord. It is free. It's a great community. Chiefs put it together. And if you play on any of the prop sites, you can really translate it to the sports books possibly as well. There's even a little bit of DFS talk, but not as much as some of the other channels on RotoGrinders. Make sure to check it out. There's a ton of information in there. And again, if you're looking to play, right, we mentioned Thrive Fantasy, Underdog, Monkey Knife Fight, Prize Picks. Go to the top of the RotoGrinders homepage, sign up for them. There are sign-up bonuses for all of them. You will get the best one in the industry using RotoGrinders links or bonus codes, and you can play along with us each and every week. Other than that, good luck this week and next week, Chief.
Yes, sir.
For that, we are out of here. Thanks for watching, everybody. We out ya.